Alright, when you got 6 rows, you need to make 1 more rows, but not the whole rows. So this is the row 6, this is the row 7, and then you just need to make 2 flowers connected on the front like so, and then 2 flowers connected on the back like so. So this is gonna be the armhole, this side as well. So now we're gonna make the little flowers right here to connect the front flower to the back flowers, and I'm gonna show you guys how to make that flowers. Alright, so we're gonna make slip knot and chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and slip stitch in the first chain that we had made right here. And now look like the ring, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and double crochets in this ring. Double crochet and chain 1. And double crochets in same space here, and chain 1, and double crochets in same space, and chain 1. Alright, so you just keep repeating this, double crochets and then chain 1, double crochets and chain 1 till you got the total of 12 double crochets in same space, includes the first 3 chain. Alright, when you come to the end of the rows, after you make chain 1, you need to slip stitch in the 3rd chain that we had made. So this is the first chain, second chain, and 3rd chain. Insert the needle right here like so, and chain 3. For this row, we're gonna make puff stitches. Yarn over, insert the needle in this gap, and pull up the loop. Yarn over, insert the needle in the same gap, and pull up the loop. And now we're gonna take it all out, and chain 3. And we're gonna make puff stitch in the next gap. Yarn over, insert the needle, pull up the loop, yarn over, insert the needle, pull up the loop, yarn over, insert the needle, pull up the loop, and pull it all out, and chain 3. And then same, puff stitch in the next gap. And chain 3. So you just keep repeating this. You have to make puff stitch every gap that you see, and then I'll meet you guys at the end of the rows. Okay, when you come to the end of the rows, you will get 12 puff stitches, but for last 5 chain, we're just gonna make 1 chain and double crochet right here. Yarn over, insert the needle in the 3rd chain right here, and chain 5, and single crochets in the next gap, and chain 5, single crochets in the next gap, and chain 5, single crochets in the next gap, and chain 5, and single crochets in the next gap. Alright, just keep repeating this. Chain 5, double crochets in this gap, chain 5, double crochet in the next gap till the end of the rows. I will meet you guys there. When you come to the end of the rows, for the last 5 chain we're just gonna make 2 chain and double crochets right here, yarn over, insert the needle right here. Okay, and we're gonna make 6 double crochets in next space, in next gap here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and chain 1. And we're gonna bring the dress. This is the row 7, and this the right side, this the wrong side, this the wrong side, and this is the right side. And now we're gonna connect the front flower to the back flower, but put the little flower in between. We're gonna start from the back flower first. Insert the needle in this triangle here, pull up the loop and pull it through and chain 1, and 6 more double crochets in same space. And single crochets in the next gap and chain 2. We go back to that flowers, insert the needle, pull up the loop and pull through and chain 2. Come back to this flower. So usually we make single crochets in this gap, but for this little flower we just single crochets in this stitch, like so, and chain 2. Go back to that flower, insert the needle in that gap, pull up the loop and pull through and chain 2. Come back to this flower and then single crochets in this gap. And now we're gonna make 6 double crochets in the next gap. And chain 1. And insert the needle to that triangle, pull up the loop and pull through and chain 1, and 6 more double crochets in same space. And single crochets in the next gap, chain 5, single crochets in the next gap, and 6 double crochets in the next gap. And chain 1. We're gonna come back to the front flower to connect it. And then we're gonna insert the needle in this triangle here. Pull up the loop and chain 1. And 6 more double crochets in same space. And chain 1, single crochets in next space, chain 2, go back to the front flower and insert the needle in that gap, pull up the loop and pull through and chain 2. We come back to the little flowers, insert the needle in this stitch, not in the gap, single crochet and chain 2. We go back to the front flower, insert the needle in that gap, pull up the loop and pull through and chain 2. We come back to the little flowers, insert the needle in the gap, single crochet and 6 double crochets in next space, chain 1 and then insert the needle to this triangle, pull up the loop and pull through and chain 1 and then 6 more double crochets in same space, and single crochets in the next gap and chain 5 and slip stitch right here. Oops. Insert the needle, pull up the loop and pull through and chain 1 to lock the yarn, and we're gonna cut the yarn. Now we got one side connected, so you need to make this side connect same at this side, same flower, same connected, and I will meet you guys when you got this side connected. After you got this side connected, it'll look like this, and now we're gonna make the sleeve. And if some of you guys who don't want to make the sleeve, you just leave it like this, so you just done making the dress. And then if you want to make the sleeve, you just follow along with me and I will show you guys how to make the sleeve. And then you will need 2 markers for that. For the sleeve, we're gonna start right here, right on the little flower, and I'm gonna insert the needle in between 6 double crochet. Insert the needle, pull the yarn out and make a knot like so, and insert the needle in the same space and chain 6 and single crochets in the next gap, and now chain 2. We're gonna make triple crochets, insert the needle in between 6 double crochet and pull out the loop, pull out 2 loops, pull out another 2 loops and pull it all out. And we're gonna bring the marker to mark where we make triple crochets. and we're gonna turn it over and chain 6 and single crochet. Oops, one more chain. I just make 5 chains, so chain 6, okay, and single crochets in the next gap and chain 2, and now we're gonna make triple crochets in between these 2 triangles. Insert the needle right there, pull up the loop, pull out 2 loops, pull out another 2 loops, and pull it all out, and we're gonna bring the marker to mark and turn it over and chain 6 and single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets into the gap that we have the marker. Okay, that's why we put the marker. Single crochet, and now we're gonna take the marker out and chain 2 and triple crochets in between these 2 triangles and put the marker in, turn it over and chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets in the gap that have marker and chain 2. Take the marker out first and chain 2 and triple crochet. Insert the needle in between 6 double crochet. I just put it right here and bring the marker to mark where we make triple crochet and turn it over and chain 6 and single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets in the next gap, chain 6, oops, sorry, chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6 and single crochets into the gap that have marker, and we're gonna take marker out and chain 2 and triple crochets in between 6 double crochet Okay, we're gonna mark right here and turn it over, chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets to the next gap, chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets in the gap that have marker and take the marker out and chain 2 and triple crochets in this gap, the chain 5 right there, triple crochet in there, put the marker back in and turn, oops, and turn it over and chain 6, single crochets in the next gap, chain 6, single crochets in the next gap, chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochet in the next gap and chain 6. So we just keep repeating this, not difficult, but don't forget this gap. The gap is half marker, we have to make single crochet in that gap. Okay, and take the marker out and chain 2 and triple crochets in this gap right here, put the marker back in and turn it over and chain 6, single crochet, chain 6, single crochets, next gap and chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, single crochets and chain 6, and chain 6, single crochets in this gap and take the marker out and chain 2 and triple crochets in this gap right here, put the marker back in turn it over, chain 6, single crochets in the next gap, chain 6, single crochets in the gap is half marker. Just keep repeating the same and take a marker out and chain 2 and triple crochets in the next gap, this gap right here, put the marker back in and turn it over and do the same, chain 6, single crochets in the next gap and chain 6, chain 6, single crochet in the gap is half marker, and take the marker out, and chain 2, and triple crochets in between the 6 double crochet. I just put right here. Okay, put the marker back in, turn it over, do the same, chain 6, and chain double crochet in the next gap, chain 6, chain 6, single crochets in the gap that have marker, and take the marker out, and chain 2, triple crochets in between 6 double crochet, oops, put the marker back in, turn it over, chain 6, single crochet to the next gap, chain 6, so you just keep repeating this in same pattern, but don't forget to make the chain 6 and then single crochets in the gap is half marker. So this gonna be triple crochet right here, next one, and triple crochets in between 6 double crochet, and triple crochets in this gap, triple crochets in this gap, and then triple crochets in between triangle. And I'll meet you guys when you got around here. So just keep the eye on the 6 double crochet. Don't forget to make triple crochet. Alright, I will meet you guys when you come to the end of the rows. When you come to the end of the rows, I'm gonna show you guys how to connect this together. So after this, so I just need to take the marker out and then chain 2 and triple crochets in here. In here. Triple crochet, and now chain 2 and triple crochets right in here. Alright, and gonna take the marker out, and now we're gonna make 5 double crochets in next space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and chain 3. Okay, and you see this little bump on the back of the first chain that we had made. Just insert the needle in there, pull up the loop and pull through, and 5 more double crochets in same space. And then single crochets in the next gap, and then 5 double crochets in the next gap, and chain 3, and then same, the little bump in the first chain that we had made on the back here. Just insert the needle, pull up the loop and pull through, and 5 more double crochets in same space. And single crochet to the next gap. Alright, 5 double crochets in next space, and chain 3. Same, insert the needle to the little bump here, pull up the loop and pull through, and 5 more double crochets in same space. And single crochet. Alright, so keep repeating this. I will meet you guys at the end of the row. When you come to the end, so this is the last triangle we're gonna make. Okay, this part right here. So 5 double crochet in here, and chain 3, and slip stitch right here in the little bump, and 5 more double crochet in same space. And now we're gonna slip stitch right here. This is where we start. Slip stitch right here, insert the needle, pull up the loop and pull through, and chain 1. And now we're done making the sleeve. Yay! So you need to make same sleeve with the other side here. Alright, I will meet you guys when you got another sleeve in the other side. Alright, when you're done making the other sleeve, that's what it's gonna look like. So now we're done making the dress. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. When you're done making the other sleeve, that's what it's gonna look like. So now we're done making this dress. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.